We are live.
Joe, what's up? How's my sound?
Sounds really good. Now let's see if this thing works. Trying to see if I can get this other media share camera to work. Let's see if this will work. Now that's the other one.
You can send it at TikTok.
All right, so hopefully now we can get something. Let me see. All right, I'm getting something here. So let's see if I can work with this.
Do you need me to email you that TikTok?
No, I'm gonna see if you can email it to me as a backup, but I'm trying to see if I can bring it on. I think I got it here. Now we're gonna see if the audio works.
I emailed it to you just in case.
Okay. Oh, that's where the audio's not working.
30 seconds out.
Yeah, I forgot to connect this thing.
I like the progressive saying it's his Friday.
There you go. It's Friday and we don't give a damn. I think I might be able to get it with the other system that we have in play here.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. We have a new nickname for the show, the Area 210, according to the final Quan. Joe, you are back in the saddle, my man, producing today's show. How you feeling, my man? We had to take the day off yesterday because you were under the weather.
Yeah, feeling a little bit better. I still got the vertigo, but not as bad. I can't drive my car, but I'm feeling better. I had a real bad ear infection. I just thought it was allergies, man. I didn't think anything of it until I woke up yesterday morning, and everything was spinning like when you're drunk, you know?
Oh, wow.
Everything's like spinning real bad. I was like, okay, this will go away in a second or two. Maybe I got up too fast, but no, man, it just kept on, and I just felt all off. So I'm like, nah, I got to go to the urgent care. Something's up. And then sure enough, the doctor's like, no, man. He goes, you got like an ear infection bad in one ear, and it's spreading to the other ear. I'm like, okay. I said, well, just like give me some antibiotics. I'll be on my way. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you gotta rest, dude. You can't work. I'm like, I work from home. And he's like, no, the stuff we're gonna give you is gonna knock you out. Like, you're not gonna be any good at work. I'm like, I was like, you know what? I've been working really hard, really like nonstop. So I'm like, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and I need a rest. You know, it's the body's way of saying you need a rest.
I called you this morning or texted you around 6:30 this morning. I was like, dude, are we doing the show or not today? You got to make this, got to figure this out. Going to be driving back to San Antonio immediately after the show. I've got some meetings tomorrow, so I'll be in studio tomorrow. But we have a lot to get into today, Joe. I mean, we do talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. More than 2,400 subscribers. We got 10 new subscribers this week, which is badass.
Yeah.
We had our first debate on here with the final Quan earlier this week. That was very well received. We're going to be doing lots of new things with this show as time goes on. Joe and I have big plans for when football season comes around, for when the NBA season comes around, because year number 3 of Wemby is going to be big. De'Aaron Fox, maybe Dylan Harper, or if we're going to get Giannis, we need to be prepared for all of this. So, you know, get ready, right? Get ready. Hey, NBA draft is 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks away from tonight. So probably between now and 3 weeks, we're going to find out whether the Spurs are going to keep Dylan Harper, take him
9-year-old from Dallas, Texas,
or if the Spurs are going to, there you go. Or if the Spurs are going to trade for a Giannis or a Kevin Durant. We're all going to know this within about 3 weeks or so, right? Because it has to happen before the draft, more than likely. College World Series, We're down to the Sweet 16, if you will, the Super Regionals. UTSA heading over to LA to take on UCLA in a best of 3. We have the latest and greatest when it comes to that. We're going to hear from the manager, the head coach, if you will, of the UTSA Roadrunners, because like Joe and I have been saying for over a year, UTSA Baseball needs a new facility, and now he's taken to the airwaves to talk about it. I found that to be very interesting. Joe, the tall tale that I've had about middle of the night, Antonio Daniels, Tim Duncan, and other NBA players, mostly from the Spurs, coming up to me at Racquetball and Fitness saying, hey, we're trying to run 5s. Do you want to jump in? How no one believed me about that? Well, now
Stop the cap.
There's some kid, some teenager who was approached by Victor Wembanyama and asked to play a game of horse at a Northside Park this week. Okay, first of all, that guy has evidence. He has proof. He has surveillance video of what went down. He spoke to KSAT. We're going to talk about that as well. What would happen if Wemby did that? Why did Wemby do that? Are you surprised? Are you happy that he did that? We're going to get into the NBA draft again 3 weeks away. And all the mock drafts, doesn't matter which one you're talking about, ESPN, SI, Fox Sports, USA Today, they all have somebody different going to the Spurs at number 14. They all agree on who's going number 2, Dylan Harper. But number 14, is that giving you some a weak stomach, wondering what the Spurs are going to do at 14? Because the whole idea of trading for Giannis, the whole idea of trading for Kevin Durant, guess what, Joe? No. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So as a Spurs fan, I'm thinking to myself, 2 and 14, that's what we got. Because guess what? That's what we got. So we'll have to get into that as well. As Jonathan C. mentions right there, 2 Texas teams playing in the women's softball World Series, the girls softball series.
Yeah.
Texas against Texas Tech. 2 of the players from the San Antonio area. So we'll dive into that as well. Joe, what do you want to talk about first today? Oh, by the way, I also finished, maybe in the pop culture segment, I finally finished Breaking Bad. Chica and I were up till 3 a.m. last night watching the final episodes. Finally finished Breaking Bad.
Nice.
We plowed through all 5 seasons in about 3 weeks.
No, it's not bad.
So not bad. So
let's get into this Wemby video here, man.
Yeah, so there's this kid who was at a Northside Park earlier this week, right? He's speaking to Myra Arthur there of KSAT 12. And he's just shooting hoops by himself, right? And walks in, it's a gated full court right there. It's a nice looking court
on the north side. Yeah.
And apparently Victor Wembanyama was in a car with 2 other women. And he pulls up and is like, hey, you want to shoot around? You want to play horse? So Wemby, the Spurs superstar, shows up and asks this kid if he wants to play horse. And he's got evidence of it because there's surveillance video, there's photos that he took, selfies and whatnot. Joe, how excited were you to see that Wemby went out there and did that? Because you've been very critical about Wemby because he was playing soccer in South America with kids. He was doing things with other kids in other cities. For him to go out there, because to me, it's like this. Wemby had to have known that this was going to be headlines, right? He had to have known that because he did the selfie. That in itself proves that this kid's story is legit. But then you have the surveillance video that happened from the up top. Wemby beat this kid in horse, said that the kid said that he made a 3-pointer left-handed to win, but that he did get 2 letters off him. Got an HO off of Wemby.
Oh.
He got a hoe. Joe, how excited are you about that?
I mean, it's all right. He's doing something good for the kids there, for the neighborhood,
Yeah.
He's just having a good time, just playing some basketball with the kid he saw by himself. So, you know what? Let me just go ahead and come out here and play with the kid for a little bit, give him a memory that he's going to remember for the rest of his life. I thought it was good. But, Wemby knows that this is good marketing at the end of the day because they're going to talk about it. The video is going to circulate. He's going to be on the social media, let's say platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, the works, national TV. It's good for business. I mean, he probably did something good, out of the kindness of his heart. But at the end of the day, it's good PR, good marketing on his behalf. But at the end of the day, too, it's like I want to see more pictures of him in the gym, working out, working on his game.
No, he's been doing his thing, man. He's been doing his thing. And for Wemby to go out there and do that, yes, well, it was a PR move, man. It is a PR stunt. But I will at least say that I did like to see this. You like to see him in the neighborhood because, as you've mentioned, in the past, he's been out there playing with kids from South America, other parts of the country. He finally picked a kid from San Antonio to play with. And even if it was 5 or 10 minutes or so, still a pretty cool experience. The kid said that Wemby did not do any dunks or anything like that to win the game of force. He just did, normal mid-range jumpers and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to check it out, Myra Arthur was the reporter for KSAT 12 who did that. You go to ksat12.com, ksat.com to check that out.
So I was going to say we got an incoming super chat here by the Drew Show, which we're going to go ahead and share with the viewers right here. Thank you for that, Drew. We appreciate it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
So what is he saying here, Mike?
He says, Drew Show says, I can't wait for the football season debate when the scary guest master debater tells us what a pro team should do because he coaches Pee Wee football. Okay. That's a dig at a lot of people. I think he's taking a dig at Quan there because Quan said that he coached an AAU or a kids level team. And but here's the thing, man. This is a show about fans and a fan's perspective. And to be honest with you, sometimes fans do know more than the athletes. Why? Because we're not into it, right? Because we're not so deep into it and we don't get in our feelings when it comes to it. That's why we don't do press passes, Joe. You and I have all the ability to go in and get Spurs press passes, UTSA. We may need to revisit, though.
Yeah.
But we want to be a fan's perspective of what goes on. And if you think that everybody who has played ball knows ball, well, then you would think that Kendrick Perkins is smart.
Oh,
Kendrick Perkins had a 10-year career in the NBA, right?
Well, he said he held down the Spurs. Was it the grade 3?
The grade 3, yeah. So, I mean, just because they're former athletes doesn't mean that they know everything, right? Or they don't know how to articulate themselves. I mean, I don't look at all these athletes who are on TV and think to myself, oh my God, they know everything. They know more than me, obviously. But from a fan's perspective, you can learn a lot from Amina Kimes. You can learn a lot from a lot of different people out there that were in the game or have been out of the game for a long time. This is a fan show, baby. This is a fan-driven show. But will Drew be on the show? That's what I want to know.
Maybe that'd be, if he wants to be on the show, maybe he can get him on. He can be your next debater.
On our chat, powered by MCS General Contracting, who do you want to see me debate next time? I did not realize that Quan and I were so similar. I had no idea.
The final Quan, he was a lot of fun having him on the show and stuff. We look forward to bringing him back on and making him a regular because he had a lot of good points to go ahead and talk about. It kind of almost sounded like you and him were becoming best friends. Like on Step Brothers, did we just become best friends?
That's funny, man. Hey, UTSA Roadrunners, by the way, the Road to the College World Series begins this weekend. What an exciting time to be a UTSA Roadrunner fan when it comes to it all. And it's okay to be a bandwagon fan. Joe and I have been to games in the past, but it's not like we're diehard UTSA baseball fans. But I am a UTSA grad. Your kid goes to UTSA. We get to cheer for UTSA. And I don't care if you didn't go to UTSA. It's a city of San Antonio thing. We're in the Super Regionals, the Sweet 16, and it gets going on Friday against UCLA, Joe, the 16th ranked team in the nation. UTSA's odds of winning the College World Series last weekend were 100-1. Now they're 35-1. What's interesting about the whole scenario, though, is that UT, who UTSA beat 3 times in a month, twice last week, UT was the second-ranked team in the entire college world in the college baseball, right? UCLA is ranked number 16. UTSA was not ranked, but RPI was number 25. They could go toe-to-toe with UCLA and beat them 2 out of 3. When it goes down to the next round, which is in Omaha for the quarterfinals, if you will, they call it something else, but for what it's worth, it's the quarterfinals, the Elite 8 of college baseball. Neither of those teams are ranked, Joe. When UTSA took out the number 2 team, they assumed their position. And then you had upsets in other parts of the bracket. UTSA gets by UCLA, has a very good chance of making it to the Final Four of college baseball, which is very, very exciting. Now their head coach, their manager, was on a podcast a couple of days ago, actually just yesterday, talking about the facilities and what the team needs. You and I have talked about what a joke their facilities are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think St. Mary's University, which is not even D1, D2, D3, has better facilities. Incarnate Word has better facilities. Northside ISD high schools have better facilities than UTSA, and UTSA is the super regionals of college baseball. Do we have that clip there with the manager there?
Where is it? Did you put it on your? Is it on your?
Oh, I emailed it. I emailed it to you.
Is that the one you emailed me? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can go ahead and pull it up.
It's a TikTok, man, that I saw that I thought was very telling because he's talking about the facilities.
Duncan's still getting it done, Paul.
Why is nobody talking about
I'm trying to pull up the link here.
Yeah.
Let me
Now,
click
one
on
of the
this surgery?
You have UCLA now.
there you
we
go.
So let me go ahead and pull that up here on the show so we can show it. There we are.
In you and the administration, from the athletic department to the president and more, do you get some perks out of this? Do you get a stadium or anything like that? Or is that just way too early to talk?
I hope you keep saying that. I've heard nothing. I've heard no talks like that in terms of what we're doing now. There's some talks for a couple years from now prior to what we're doing now. So about a player development building, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing now. But it starts at the top with the president. That's what we got to get behind us more than anything in what we're doing. We can become self-sustaining, which not every baseball program can. And I'm not going to shy away from saying that after what we're doing now. I've always thought that, and I have shied away from saying it because I don't like to be a bloviator. I want to speak in facts, and now they're facts. We can be self-sustaining. We're in San Antonio. It's huge. Put the facility here. The fans will come. Give them a reason to come. The reason is on the field. The product is on the field. Now give them a reason a ballpark that they like to sit in. So please get that word out there.
You have UCLA.
Pat Hallmark there of UTSA Roadrunners, the manager of the team, on the 365 Sports Podcast, talking about the fact that he says we can be self-sustaining. We are the city of San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the United States when it comes to population. We can support a college baseball team. Joe, do you think that UTSA fans can embrace this baseball team the same way they do the football team? When we go to the Alamo Dome, we're not expecting 35, 45,000 people there, but we do know that 15 to 22 will be there, 15 to 25, depending on the team. Do you think that this manager of UTSA Baseball is correct in saying that, hey, we keep winning, people are going to want to see us?
I think he is correct in that, assumption. If they keep winning, winning is going to go ahead and draw in the fans, because a lot of fans were not familiar with UTSA baseball's game, and ourselves included. I mean, we followed them here and there. We might have gone to a game or two in the past, but the facility leaves much to be desired. If you go out there and you see the Goliath that is the UTSA football facility, practice facilities and all that, it's beautiful. But then you look, and in the shadow there, you have the baseball facility, which is nothing more than a little baseball diamond right there that has like a gate with UTSA. I don't even know. Like they go ahead and put that logo and stuff, the logoing, the graphic on the fence itself, but it's not much. I mean, you pass by it, you probably wouldn't even see it. Like you forget that it's even there. When you're trying to look for parking, if you're going to some function on UTSA campus with your kids, you blink and it's gone.
Dude, that's exactly it. You don't even realize it's there. It's surrounded by trees, right? And you've got all these parking lots and it's all this traffic going on. It is not actually a baseball stadium. Now, Samson has asked us the question, what would have happened if UC Irvine had beaten UCLA, which was possible? Had that happened, it would have been a coin flip to see who was going to host. Imagine the embarrassment that it would have been for UTSA to host a super regional at that facility.
Yeah.
Okay. We call Harrison Barnes a Toyota Corolla. What exactly is that facility for UTSA baseball? Describe it as a vehicle. That has got to be a
Whew.
78 Pinto.
Like one of those, what is it, 87, 85, 89 Geo Tracker,
Dude.
way past its prime.
They could have gone across the street and played baseball at Northside's facilities and had more seating and a better field, a better fence, better turf, better dirt, everything.
You know
That
what? Real
field
talk,
of the
Mike.
Northwest Little League, no lie, has better field than UTSA.
No lie here. I mean, real talk. If you live around the area where I live at, if you go down 151, Mike, what do you see on the side of the road there as you're coming towards 410? Right between 410 and 90. A huge facility that they have out there for playing baseball, Little League baseball. And it's a nice facility. There's one that's right around the corner from where I live here, right off of Petrenko. It's right by the, what is it called? The Pirates Cove car wash, Sonic and all that.
Yeah.
They have a great facility there, better than what they have currently right now over at the UTSA campus. Instead of pumping all the money, and I get the football program is what's really bringing in the cash, right? That's their cash cow. That's what bringing in the ratings and whatnot. But you have other venues there, kind of like the baseball field. And not only that, but the basketball, arena that they have there. It needs some love, man. You can't just pump everything into that football program entirely. You got to kind of share the wealth, and I don't think they've done that.
Well, what exactly do they pump into the football team? Because the stadium that they play at is at the Alamo Dome. They didn't build that.
The one thing that
they rent it off of the city of San Antonio.
Look at their practice field, for example. They pumped in money to that. The practice facility, they pump in money to that. The promotional aspect of things, they promote heavily UTSA football. That's really what they're pushing everybody to go out and see. You don't hear them talking about the basketball team. You don't hear them, talking about let's go see the baseball team, UTSA baseball right now. Since they're, going into, hopefully they can get into the College World Series here, that the chatter will be go see the team or root for the team. But you don't really see that unless they're winning at this caliber. They're not really talking about them, and that's kind of a shame.
Can you imagine if they had hosted the Super Regionals and 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 people showed up, which would have happened, right?
Yeah.
And they would show up and go, "What do you mean there's no seating? What do you mean we have to stand
your lawn chair?
What do you mean we have to bring our own lawn chair, bring our own ice chest? This isn't a Little League team. This is the American Athletic Conference." By the way, I misspoke. The first game is going to be Saturday at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
that
it's
going to be on ESPNU. Game 2 is Tuesday is 2 p.m. on Sunday. So again, Saturday 6 p.m., Sunday at 2 p.m. And if game 3 is needed, it's going to be Monday, but that time has not been determined.
Look at what
yet.
UTSA did, Mike. They went ahead and they finally said UTSA Athletics partners with Buffalo Wild Wings for an NCAA super regional watch party. So they're going to have this watch party so you can watch UTSA baseball take on UCLA there. And it's showing that, they're going to have it on Saturday, June the 7th, 6 p.m. It's going to be on ESPNU. Sunday, June 8th, 2 p.m. Central Time. It says to be determined. Same thing with the game on Monday, June 9th, to be determined. But definitely they're going to have a watch party out there first Saturday at 6 p.m. And it shows you the location, 5860 Days of Olive Road, So they're trying to give them a solid. Hey, we're doing you all a solid. We're kind of promoting you guys. We're getting behind you now that you're winning. Why can't you have that same energy when they're just playing in the context of the regular season?
Well, people ask the question, well, why don't they play elsewhere, like at Wolf Stadium, or why don't they play over at other places? They can't play at Wolf Stadium because San Antonio Missions are there. San Antonio Missions play, and the mission schedule is predetermined, whereas whether they make the regionals and all that, that's like 24 hours notice of you got to host a game, right? Or 72 hours notice of hosting a game. Plus, the problem with UTSA playing at the Alamo Dome is the fact that it's far from the stadium. I just plugged it into my phone right now. It is 19 miles to go from UTSA to the Wolf.
Yeah. Look at what Rafa's saying. He's saying that facility that I was talking about right off of 151. He says the baseball facility off 151 hosts Our Lady of the Lake University Baseball. Yeah, it's a baseball facility that they have there, and they host them. I don't know what happened here. Hold on, let me get my cam back here. There we go. Now I'm back.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good facility that they have out there. I don't mind it. I mean, they have at least bleacher seating and stadium
Right.
seating there where you can sit down and watch a baseball game. Now, let's be honest, it's not a full on baseball stadium like the Wolf, but it does the job. You know?
By the way, they asked a question: couldn't they have played at the Wolf? Well, the Missions are playing at the Wolf this weekend, so they couldn't have played there. Now Monday was available because they go on they take off on Monday, but Saturday and Sunday at the Wolf.
Let's draw
Missions play Midland.
comparisons. Let's draw comparisons here, Mike. UTSA's baseball facility leaves much to be desired. But then you go and you look at St. Mary's University, and they still have VJ Keefe Stadium over there, where the Missions used to play.
Former home of the Missions.
Yeah, way back when, and that's better than what the UTSA currently has.
It's one of those things where the UTSA athletics department was not ready to jump conferences in all sports. They weren't, man, because I know football carries the big weight, and they went from Conference USA. They went from being nothing to suddenly popping up into Conference USA to jumping their way over. They were in the Sun Belt first. Then they jumped to Conference USA. Then they made their way to the American Athletic Conference. And that conference has standards by which you've got to do certain things. Because that's just one step below the Big 12. That's just one step below the Big 10 and the SEC. But it is kind of depressing to see the football team play at the Alamo Dome. It's extremely depressing to see a basketball game over there. I don't know if you've seen that, Joe. Again, Northside ISD's gym, which I go to because, I'm part of a referee association.
Yeah.
Dude, Paul Taylor Fieldhouse is nicer than what the UTSA's Convocation Center.
My high school, my alum right there, West Campus, off of Ray Ellison Road, their basketball facility, should I say, is better than that. It looks nice. I mean, you go in and you watch a UTSA game, it's like you're going back in time, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's go to the time machine. It's like you're going back into the 60s, 70s. The place was probably built around that time. The facility's dated, man. There's no upgrades to speak of in there. It's just bare bones.
Yeah, Jonathan C. says Missions could take over. Actually, the runners could take over the Wolf Stadium when the Missions leave. But why? It's that is a nice place to watch a college baseball game. It is. But why? It's 19 miles away from the students. That's the weird thing about it is, Joe, is that maybe it would be a good thing because it's out in the open, right? The good thing is that you can drive by Highway 90 where 151 and 90 come together, and you can take a look and say, oh, there's a baseball game going on. Maybe you want to go check that out. But the whole point of the college athletics program is to play where the students are, and the students are on campus. San Antonio being a commuter city when it comes to UTSA being a commuter school, that has always been the thing in the past. When I went to UTSA and I graduated in 2001, it was a commuter school. Did I ever live there? No. Did I know people who lived at University Oaks? Yes. But more and more kids that go to UTSA, Joe, now live there. Now it's probably, 50-50 at this point?
What I see happening now, and they've built a lot of dorm facilities there. They got a nice dorm facility, and my daughter was at right as you're pulling into the UTSA campus. And they have the other facilities, the other dorms that are just down the road from there. And a lot of the kids that are going to UTSA now, they're coming in from various parts of Texas, even from various parts of the United States. But they currently live there, the kids. They go to school, they live there, they're walking around, they're doing everything on campus. And, having something that's on campus that they can go to and get behind a winning team, like the baseball team. If they had a nice facility, I bet you the kids would have went there, and so
they would have gone.
Would have gone because the ticket prices, it's very efficient, as far as it being like $10 right now to go in there, and there's no seats. But all they got to do is just really clean up the facility a little bit, kind of update it, put some bleacher seating or something there, for people to sit down and enjoy it. The kids will go and enjoy it, dude. They'd like it. You know,
They would, and it's on.
nothing else
And there's something about going to a game on campus.
campus,
I go to other teams, right? Because I'll go to UT games because that is the flagship school of the state of Texas, and I go there and I'll cheer them. I'm a T-shirt fan of UT, right? I cheered for UTSA in the baseball last weekend, but I'm a T-shirt fan. I'm a T-shirt fan of LSU because my money went there because my daughter graduated from there, right?
Yeah.
And I know those are bigger schools with longer traditions, but you walk onto campus and you go to a game. It's a different energy. It's a different vibe than going up to I-37 and jumping onto the Alamo Dome.
We got an incoming super chat from Jason Garcia. Appreciate it, Jason.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, Jason says it's sad to see when the highway gets an upgrade and your facilities are still stuck in the 60s. Joe, thanks to you for the super chat there, Garcia. Them being stuck in the 60s is funny because I was showing Chica the photos that I took out there. I went out with Sean and Alex to go watch a game last year. And she goes, well, now I know why they were good. I don't know if this was a joke or not, but she goes, now I know why they were good. She goes, they're playing like they're in the Dominican Republic, Joe, is what she said. She said, so they're playing like they're the Dominican Republic because it's such a bad facility that if they can do well on that field, they could do well on a nice field. She called them bad news bears, Joe. Going to the Alamo, the Astrodome to play Kelly Lee at bat. Awful, dude.
Having a beer before the game, you know.
He was playing with a bunch of 12-year-olds, but somehow he was 19.
Drove himself to the damn facility.
There's so much wrong with Bad News Bears. That is such a stupid movie, Joe. Even I saw that back in the day.
Wasn't the manager always drunk? Remember? He was always drinking beer.
Yeah, he was. Joe Gonzalez asked the question, does Texas A have a baseball field? They do, and it's pretty decent. It's decent. I mean, it's not great, but it's decent. And they're in a lower conference. Again, it's sad that those baseball players look around to the local school district at Northside ISD having a better facility than them.
Burbank High School, bro. Come on.
Burbank does, and that's not a joke because Burbank redid their facilities.
Yes. You can see it right when you're going downtown. Like if you're coming down, you know, you're going down 151 and you're going on Highway 90 and you're going to downtown, you're passing the loop right there.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see Burbank and you see the facility there.
Northside's basketball facility on Hausman and 1604, better than the Convocation Center.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, how you're not going to be taken seriously because again, if UC Irvine had won that game against UCLA and UTSA won a coin flip, ESPN would have been on campus with national reporters showing up to that dirt mound where there's no parking. You blink and you miss it. Seating for about 300 people, Joe. I don't think 300 people could sit down at that place.
Well, you get
everyone's sitting down, lining the sides, right? Everyone gets in for $10. Golly, I wish it would have happened, Joe. UTSA would have been embarrassed to have gotten a facility.
You know what they would have done, Mike? They would have used that same company that they rent the bleachers, the stadium seating, the bleachers from over there when they do the Fiesta. Is it the Fiesta Flambeau and the Battle of Flowers parade? The city hires a company to come out and they put the bleachers there. UTSA probably would have done the same thing to try to church it up a bit, make it look more like a facility, you know?
There you go. I'm looking at DraftKings. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. They have UTSA plus 145 to win the series against UCLA. So they have UCLA as the favorite, but not a very heavy favorite. Plus 145 basically means that they believe that UTSA has about a 35 to 40% chance of winning.
Look at Jordan Schneider. He says, what do you mean no parking? The whole campus is a parking lot. Laugh my ass off. Well, you want to laugh your ass off when you go over there. There's also a lot of dorms there. A lot of the parking that's near that facility is already taken by the kids that live there on campus. Now, if you go around the corner, there's like an L shape, right? When you come around the corner from where the baseball field is at, and you kind of go there, there's parking behind there. but it's not as big as you actually think it is. I mean, if you go ahead and have national media, you have people in the media coming out here, by the time you actually think about it, half of that's already gone to them. The other half is going to be to whoever wants to show up and watch the game. And that's about it. There's not a lot of parking to be had there. I'm very familiar with the campus because I've been all over it. I'm just saying, even though you might think there's a lot of parking, there's not a lot of parking near the baseball facility is what we're saying.
Yeah. Blink and you miss it is the best way of looking at it, because when I went to the game last year, they played Texas State. I couldn't find it. And they're like, it's right there. I'm like, where? It's right there. They're pointing the field to me, and I couldn't see it. It's right there, hidden behind the trees. It's right there.
Yeah.
And then you get on there, and it's like, wild, man. Wild.
Somebody could sell oranges and Capri Suns from the ice chest.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Hey, our good friend Sean Quintero is reaching out to us, man. He needs some love. He's saying that the bar having specials there at PF Chang over at La Cantera. He goes, go by and visit. They have half-price bottles today of champagne and wine.
Champagne? Oh, what about that? Get
Dude,
some of that
Prosecco. PF Chang's is pretty nice, man. I like PF Chang's.
Yeah, if you haven't been, they have a nice little facility when you go out there. It's like a little out on the patio kind of vibe, you know, where you go in there and you can get something, you know, to eat. They got good food out there, but they also trying to have like this little outdoor area. It's pretty cool, man. You go out there, they got some TVs and stuff. You can sit out there when, you know, under the shade and during happy hour, get some drinks in you. It's fun.
Yeah, it's not half off, but try the Japanese old-fashioned. Different. Pretty damn good, man. Pretty damn good. So PF Chang's, Sean Quintero, a big supporter of our show, man. They help get us guests from time to time. They've provided a lot of the gift cards for some of our giveaways and things like that. So, again, go ask for Sean Quintero over there at PF Chang's over at La Cantera Mall.
And look at the Drew show. He says, didn't UTSA sell Valero like 30% of their land to Valero in the late 90s? I'm pretty sure they did. You know what? That is probably a good point of discussion there, too, because if you're looking where the Valero corporate office is, because I'm very familiar with it. I used to work there for a number of years. And you look right where UTSA is, it's very close proximity. It's literally, you just cross the street, you know, when you're at the Valero corporate office.
That's true. That's true. Hey, let's give some love to Jeff Garcia, because on the other side, I'm going to want you to go on to his Twitter account, because there are new baseball caps, or basketball caps, if you will, that are just in time for the NBA draft, Joe. I want to get your impression on it. Give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Joe, I like the basketball cap that Jeff Garcia showed, man. Again, you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs on Twitter and on Threads and on Kens5.com. And if you take a look at his thread, yeah, there it is right there. There it is right there. So when Dylan Harper is taken number 2 by the Spurs in the draft 3 weeks from tonight, that's the look of the cap, Joe. And I'm going to be honest with you, I like it a lot.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's simple. I don't know. I like it. The first time I saw it, I thought to myself, I love the script. I like how simple it is. I like the fact that it's white and black. I like this one a lot, Joe.
And just because it's a nice, simple design.
It's a simple design. You know, it doesn't have the Fiesta colors. I can't stand the Fiesta colors, Joe. I mean, we have the best color scheme in all of sports, along with the Raiders. We have the black and silver and white. Best color scheme. Why are we doing Fiesta colors? It's stupid. And don't get me started on the Bill Miller colors as well, the City Edition or whatever that crap was. But that is a good-looking hat, Joe. And I can even see the inverse. I can even see a black hat with a white brim and a white script. This is a good look, Joe.
Look at Turner and Ellis says, Joe wanted Fiesta colors. No, I think it's just classic the way it looks right now. Now, there's a time and a place for Fiesta colors, but not right now. You usually want to see that associated with Fiesta, and that means that the team made it to the playoffs. Sure, break out the Fiesta colors for that. But if they're not making it to the playoffs, nah, traditional silver and black.
Joe, we got to have some sort of plan for the draft, man. Are we going to have a draft party? Because last year's draft party was legit. We had 2 first-round picks. We got Stephon Castle at 4. Then at number 8, everyone got all excited because Dillingham was selected at number 8. And then the Spurs traded him 5 minutes later. And the place went to shit.
Dilly, yeah.
Everyone got so mad. But you know what? We flipped that pick for De'Aaron Fox. So it is what it is. Joe, the USA Today released its latest mock draft for the 2025 NBA draft. And, dude, I'm excited, man. Again, I know a lot of people out there are F them picks, right? Send them for Giannis, send them for Kevin Durant. But understand, this isn't a De'Aaron Fox situation, right? De'Aaron Fox wanted to come to San Antonio. Brian Wright was able to get him for 10 cents on the dollar. That's not going to be the case for Durant, not going to be the case for Giannis. You may actually have to overpay for them, especially considering the fact that you get multiple years with Giannis, assuming that he comes into his player option. So that being said, Joe, I'm under the impression that we're drafting at 2 and 14. Every single mock draft has the Spurs going number 2, Dylan Harper. At number 14, everyone's a little bit different, but Joe, USA Today's got me excited because they have at number 14, the Spurs taking forward Asa Newell out of Georgia, who I have said for the longest time I wanted on this team as a stretch 4. That guy has a high motor. He's ready to play today. And I see all these mock drafts out there. Carter Bryant from Arizona. Okay, he was a backup player who averaged 4 points per game or 5 points per game. Okay, he's an athletic freak at the combine. I get it. But when they play basketball, they're doing basketball plays, not doing combine plays. I don't understand this excitement that they have over these people who do well at the combine. Josh Primo did well in the combine. And, dude, I hear all these Spurs fans joke say, well, you know what? He was up and coming, man. We saw some really good games. What the F are you talking about? I never saw one Josh Primo game where he did anything exciting that showed that he was going to be a starter in this league. Everyone has this effing fantasy that Josh Primo was going to be like the steal of a pick that the Spurs got back in 2021. What are you talking about? He did nothing on this team. He averaged 5 points per game on this team. So exactly which game did he ball out that gave you all this optimism?
I think he had one or two games where he did good, and then Spurs fan got excited. Then he showed a little bit of flash as far as maybe he's going to be more consistent. And then all of a sudden, the debacle happened where they were on the road, and that was all she wrote. He
had 37 points in a game for the Austin Spurs, right? But I'm looking at it as an NBA career guy, right? He played 50 games for the Spurs, averaged 19 minutes per game. So basically almost half a game. He averaged 5.8 points, 1.6 assists. He shot 37% from the field. He shot 30% from 3.
What was his EFG, Mike, your favorite stat?
Oh, it's got to be in the low 40s, Joe.
What do you say, Basuda?
Dude. It was awful. He was a bad player, Joe. I know he was young and all that, but there's a reason why he's gone from the NBA, and it's not simply because of the fact that he dropped the towel. He got picked up by the Clippers, played 6 games for them, a couple of games for them. It's not because of just that, Joe.
I mean, no pun intended, but they were saying he balled out for Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, bro. And we got another incoming super chat from the Drew Show.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thanks, Drew. We appreciate you, man. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so it says, with all the glazing Mike has done on Harper, he better be Rookie of the Year, a Hall of Famer, draft buzz, chalk talk. It's a crapshoot at best. Well, I'd rather have that crapshoot with the number 2 pick, Joe. If it's a consensus number 2 guy, I get it. Last year was different, Joe. I firmly believe that if the Spurs were picking number 1 in the draft, they would have taken Stephon Castle. And I firmly believe that Washington was picking number 1. They would have taken Alex Sarr. And we saw that Atlanta took Zachary Richarche. Last year, there was no number 1 consensus at all. There was no number 2 consensus, no number 3. Some people like Reed Shepherd, right? But you take a look at this draft, everyone knows that Cooper Flagg is number 1. Everybody knows that Dylan Harper is number 2, and everybody else falls in line number 3, right? Half the teams might say that Ace Bailey's the number 3 guy. Half the teams might say Trey Johnson or Con Knipple or somebody else could be number 3, right? VJ Edgecombe. It's a crapshoot down the way. I don't think it's a crapshoot up top, Joe. I really don't this year. And is he going to be rookie of the year? He may not start right away.
True.
Right? He might not start, but Cooper Flagg will. Cooper Flagg is going to be a day 1 starter. Cooper Flagg more than likely will be the rookie of the year. He's probably 90% chance of getting it, right?
Let's be honest here, Mike. When you look at Harper, he might have a little bit of a slow start. I mean, it happens. Look at what happened to Wemby. Even Castle, for all intents and purposes. He had a great showing at the Spurs Summer League, and he was saying, hey, the game is slowing down. But he was a different breed, man. He came in there and he looked a little bit more ready to go than the rest, But he came out and he took a little bit of time for him to kind of get acclimated. And when he did, he hit his stride and he did very well for a rookie,
Right.
at that here playing with the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, who's to say that Harper won't have the same thing? Maybe he might have a month and a half of a learning curve. Kid figures things out, and then he's just consistent from that point on,
Mario Cavazos asked a very interesting question, Joe. If you could put his question up there.
Yeah.
If Castle was coming out in this year's draft, where would he get picked? Not knowing what you knew now that he'd be rookie of the year, just based on what his stock was when he got picked, he'd probably be going number 6 or 7.
It's because of the talent that's here in this year's draft versus last year's draft. If they had to redo last year's draft, I bet you Castle would have went higher.
Yeah, he would have gone 1, 2, or 3.
If they would have known what they know now. But we got
Right.
another incoming super chat from the Drew Show.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, so Drew Show, thank you so much for the support and also for the diss. Saying, listen to this guy. Everybody knows like a child. Everybody knows Scoot Henderson is generational. Sure, baby boy Mike. Sure, now go get a taco. Yummy. Well, first of all, speaking of tacos, my fast is going on right now. And I have fasted so far 16 hours and 45 minutes. I am hungry, and I would love a taco, by the way.
But knowing Chica, she'll probably give you something that's friendly for the diet.
Oh, dude, last night she threw down. She made Mexican egg rolls the other day, a couple days ago, with picadillo and cheese and all that. Made it into an egg roll. It was amazing. Last night she made chicken tacos, but they were with cilantro and cream cheese and all that. It was good, dude. It was amazing. Okay. Not all drafts have winners and have hits, Joe. There are going to be busts out there. Darko Milicic was the number 2 pick in the draft, right? He was a bust. You could have had Carmelo Anthony. You could have had Dwayne Wade. You could have had Chris Bosh. So everyone right now is coming up with a whole, well, what about Scoot Henderson? And Reed Shepherd was taken 3 last year. And is Reed Shepherd a bust? Someone just recently asked.
Yeah.
My question is, and the fact of the matter is that the best players in the NBA, almost all of them are picked in the top 7 of the draft. Now, I know this year we had the 3 MVP candidates be picked double digits or higher, right? You had SGA, who was picked in the teens. You had Giannis, who was picked at 15, and you had Joker, who was picked in the second round. I get that, but those are not normal, right? Normally, you get the star players like Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Wemby. You get those players in the top 5, top 7 of the draft, right? It's almost exclusively top 7. Scoot Henderson might actually be a decent player down the road. We don't know. Who did he get drafted by? Crap team, crap organization. So it could be a bad fit for what they've got going on. What you have to rely on, Joe, is the scouting of these people. The thing about Scoot Henderson was he had potential to be good. There are some players that are NBA ready to play right now, and that's what I told you, Joe. You and I talked about this last year. the player that was NBA ready to play, to join the Spurs and get out there and play good minutes, was Stephon Castle. Reece Sarche needed to develop into that guy. Sarr needed to develop into that guy. Reed Shepherd has not gotten the opportunity yet. But you looked at Castle because he could lock down people defensively. He was NBA ready from day one because he was 6'6" and had some girth to him. Castle was ready to go day one. Dylan Harper is ready to go day one. He is 6'6" and bigger than Castle. He has more offensive talent than Castle. He shoots better than Castle. He is an NBA-ready player with the pedigree of the fact that his dad won 5 championships with the Bulls and the Lakers and played with Kobe and Michael. This guy's ready. There are certain players in this draft, Joe, that are ready to go. Cooper Flagg, ready to go. Dylan Harper, ready to go. VJ Edgecombe, ready to go. Con Knipple, ready to go. But then you have some projects in this draft. Common from the center from Duke. Project, right?
Yeah.
Kasparis, the point guard. Project. What I don't want is the Spurs to draft a project because you never know what's going to happen out of that project, man. You don't know what's
Spurs
going to
aren't
happen.
good at developing players anymore, man. They're just not.
When they got Jeremy Sohan at number 9, project player, they use the word raw. Raw means project, right? Josh Primo, project. Luka Samanic, project. I want a player that they pick at number 14 to be ready to go. And the one that's ready to go, Joe, is Asa Newell.
Ooh, this
He's
one
ready to
gets
go.
the this gets
Mike
the
is driving
wide
at Harper's girth, according to Black Bucket. Yes, damn straight I am. Because here's the thing, Joe. Coming out of college, and I don't Quan had a hard time with me when I said this. Dylan Harper was a better college player than Stephon Castle. Castle just played on a better team. Castle's team won the national championship, but Castle was a backup player, right? But he was NBA ready, basically a 6-man playing out of position. Harper's a better shooter. Castle's a better defender. Harper's not a bad defender, though. Harper's decent at defending. It's just Castle's relatively elite. So, Joe, there's NBA-ready players this year. So if you ask the question, where would Castle have gone in this year's draft? Probably 6 or 7. Probably 6 or 7. You could redo the draft later on, hindsight being 2020. But the fact of the matter is the bigger ceiling might actually be Dylan Harper.
Look at SR $2001 watching us over here from YouTube is saying, just look at the last few MVPs. He goes, none are Americans,
Right.
and none came from the top 5 picks.
Well, the last few MVPs have been Nikola Jokic. So, I mean, if you look at the All-Star teams, Joe, the All-Star teams are almost predominantly top 7 picks.
Yeah,
Like,
I look at
across the board.
Tony Ornelas brings up a good point too. Is this how come the Spurs are not good at developing players? Is it just because shooting coach Chip went to OKC? He goes, what's the reason? The reason is they just don't develop well anymore. I don't know if it's just Chip that left and maybe a few other the pieces of their coaching staff that are no longer here. But for whatever reason now, the Spurs just aren't good at developing players. Doesn't matter if they're raw or not. You've seen some of the other talent that they picked from the NBA draft in years past. Luka Samanic, Lonnie Walker, for example. They're gone. You know, they just didn't pan out. And now you have the same thing happening with some of the other players as well. Shemezi Metu, gone. You know, it doesn't pan out. I don't know if it's just a combination of not being able to develop said player here on the team and also not doing well when it comes to choosing players that fit with this Spurs system in the draft. I think it's a combination of both. And that's why the Spurs are just not at this juncture good at developing players.
I think you're right about a lot of that, Joe. But I will go on and say that probably the number one reason beyond Chip England leaving was Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich is not the type of coach to get the best out of you anymore. And I know he's gone, but he should have left back in 2014, 15, 16. And he held on. What did we see happen last night, Joe? Thibodeau, head coach of the New York Knicks, took him to the conference finals, Joe. To the conference, they were 2 wins away from making the NBA finals, and he's gone. And ESPN's reporting that it might have been a player mutiny because they didn't like him. Why did they like Thibodeau? Tom Thibodeau is somebody who demands a certain amount of respect. He's somebody who's hard on the players. He's somebody who is critical of the players. He is somebody that's going to be very demanding as a coach. He's authoritarian as a head coach. And there's certain players right now who don't get that. And that the transition should have been, Pop should have realized that Kawhi was not Tim. He should have realized that Kawhi was not Tony. He was not Manu. You have to coach differently to different players based on their personalities. We're seeing that right now with the Lakers. Luka Doncic was on a podcast earlier this week where he was marveling at how LeBron James gets to the gym and works out. And he goes, I'm getting to the gym, and LeBron's ending his workout. That LeBron has been there hours before me. And Luka, it doesn't compute, right? So to coach Luka Doncic is different than coaching a LeBron James. The same thing goes with these players. You have to be developed by somebody who understands you and can elevate your game. And at some point, Pop wasn't able to do that. It was beyond Chip England, which was bad. But adding Pop to the mix made it even worse. Also, the Spurs lost out on all their talented assistant coaches.
They're gone.
Right? Ime Udoka left. Will Hardy left over the years.
Coach Bud.
Coach Bud, Mike Brown. All of these people that were in the Becky Hammond, they all left. Drew Show coming out with a super chat, $5 again.
We can put
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
He says, I respectfully request that Joe turns Quan's I like to play a 3-guard lineup with my kids into a drop for the people's Spurg out like Mike just did. Well, you know what? I mean, the 3-guard lineup works, Joe, and I've said this before. Give me the flip-flop.
The chancla. You ready for the chancla?
Bring it.
God, man. Let me go ahead and look for it.
This is not a flip-flop. This is a deviation to what I said, and I said it.
Deviation.
I said it the first time a long, long, long time ago on this show, and no, I can't find the clip, and you can't find the clip either. No one can find this clip. The 3-guard lineup only works if you have 3 talented guards to play, right? You can't toss out there 3 just average guards and hope that it's going to work because it's positionless basketball. Positionless basketball works when you have players who can play both sides of the court who are very, very, very talented, right? Because you can't have Sohan out there say that he's positionless basketball because he can't play offense, right? You can't have Bryn Forbes back in the day as a guard saying positionless basketball. Guard anybody.
Bryn Forbes was horrible on the defensive end, dude. Awful.
So the only way a 3-guard lineup works is if you have size, the ability to lock down a defender, and have the ability to create on your own basketball-wise. Get your own shot. So who do the Spurs have now? The Spurs have 4 guards who can do that, right? You have De'Aaron Fox, who led the league in steals one year, right? He's 6'4.5". He could obviously he's clutch. He can make buckets. De'Aaron Fox can play positionless basketball. You can put him 1, 2, or 3 on any type of play. Stephon Castle's 6'6", Joe. He's 6'6". We see when he can lock people down defensively. He plays off ball pretty well. He can play transition ball. Okay. Dylan Harper, 6'5", 6'6" himself. Offensively more talented. Dude can finish at the rim like you can, just like Castle can, right? With authority. And then you have Devin Vassell who can get a shot from 3. Devin Vassell's not great at defense, but he's not bad. He's just kind of average. But either way, those 4 players are talented enough that you can play those 3 interchangeably and get what you need out of them. So I would never be a positionless basketball before, Joe. But now that we have the talent to do so with certain players and a young coach, we might have to see what we got.
You know what? I was going to go back to talking about Coach Thibodeau, right? And how the Knicks just went ahead and fired him, even though he took him to the Eastern Conference Finals, you know?
Right.
The problem with Tib is, yeah, maybe his coaching style and he rubs players the wrong way, but also Carl Anthony Towns got this brother fired twice. Let's not forget that,
Mhm.
you know. But more importantly, what the issue was with Coach Thibodeau is the same problem that plagued Greg Popovich at the end of his career here. They're not able to make adjustments, and two, they've lost their creativity when it comes to running their offense. When you have players that are on your team and you don't know how to go ahead and just play the right lineups in the correct moment, it leads to disappointment. And that's what happened with Coach Thib. He didn't make the correct adjustments or put out the lineups that were going to go ahead and give the Knicks a better chance at beating the Pacers. He went ahead and rolled with what he had, didn't really do what he needed to in order to go ahead and make this Knicks team a little bit more competitive.
And this is one of those things where the players get all the praise and all the criticism goes to the coach. You know, like you can't criticize the player. That's not, it's not Jalen Brunson's fault. It's Tibbs' fault. Brunson is if you look at the lineup that the Knicks threw out there, they're a veteran lineup, Joe.
Yeah.
They should know better in certain situations. When they lost a 9-point lead with 45 seconds to go in the game, I don't care how many timeouts should have been called. If you are a veteran team, you should be able to lock that down on your own. But we live in a world where all the praise goes to the players, all the criticism goes to the coaches. And it goes like that with like Mitch Johnson.
Yeah, look
But
at
Mitch
this,
Johnson
man.
being told he's not playing good matchups. Mitch Johnson had crappy players on the team.
Look at Kevin O'Connor said that too. He says firing Coach Tibb is a tough call, but the right choice. Had all year to experiment with two big lineups. He didn't, even after Mitchell Robinson returned. He had all year to install layers to the offense, and he never did. The Knicks needed more of a creative coach to take that step.
But what he did, but that's hindsight being 2020. But what he did was what? He got them to the conference finals for the first time in 25 freaking years, man. That would be the equivalent of Schottenheimer taking the Cowboys to the NFC Championship game, which they haven't been in since '96, right? And then getting rid of him because he didn't play certain players. He didn't have certain schemes. He got you to the step before the championship. What more do you want, man?
Look at
they had 50 wins for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, Jeff's joining us, Locked On Spurs here in the house.
Yeah, it says I'm here to see what Jimenez is up to, and all I heard was he has some girth to him. Pause. You know what else is hard, Joe? That Diamond Heart Concrete from MCS General Contracting. Let's give them some love. They've been with us since day one.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That Diamond Hard Concrete, baby. They do a fantastic job. I've used them before. They do an amazing job. Very, 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 very happy with what they did at the side of my house. They put together a sidewalk. They extended the concrete patio. Did a fantastic job, and I highly recommend them. 210-774-9155. 210-774-9155. If you need a ramp to become ADA compliant for your business, your home, government building, whatever the case is, whatever is needed, 210-774-9155. Joe, guess whose birthday it is, Joe?
Whose birthday? I was going to give you some love too.
Oh, yeah, show me some love. 210-508-0369. I have a fly in there. 210-508-0369. I have been in financial services for 19 years, but I restarted my practice back in 2022 during COVID. I now manage more than $21 million in investments. I'm going to get that to 25 by the end of the year. It's outstanding. If you have questions about retirement planning, old 401k, old IRA, come to me. I'll help strategize with you. If you have questions about life insurance, but I sold like 8 life insurance policies last month. Life insurance, disability, long-term care. Give me a call, 210-508-0369. If you have a small business, want to offer benefits to your company, whether it be like a retirement plan, health insurance, whatever, give me a call. Auto homeowners insurance, 210-508-0369. Joe?
Yeah.
If there was a Hall of Fame of baddies back in the day, would Angelina Jolie fit on that list?
Most definitely, dude.
She joined the 50 Club.
Yeah.
Happy 50th birthday to Angelina Jolie, the home wrecker, right? Because famously, Brad Pitt left Jennifer Aniston for her, right? Because they were in that movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they had a fling and all that stuff. But she is now 50 years old. Joe, 50 today is not the way 50 was back in the day, man. Not at all, dude.
No. People looking like, like really dated back in the day. You look, like even maybe 10 years ago. You looked at 50, and man, they looked rough, bro. They looked like they were in their 70s or 80s. Like, damn.
I saw this thing, Joe, that said that I saw this meme on Twitter that said, I was going to send it to you, but I forgot to send it. It says the Mount Rushmore of Latinas is Salma Hayek, Sofia Vergara, Eva Mendes, and Jessica Alba. Is this true or not?
I'd have to agree with that. That's pretty spot on.
That's the most recent ones, right? I mean, I know you have others from like the 70s, that you could throw in there, but the most recent, I say the last 25 years, that is the Mount Rushmore. That's funny. Sam Selena says Jolie and Gia alone gets her on that list.
If you know, you know.
She was cochina with Billy Bob Thornton, man.
Yeah. Look at that, JHNSB. Who snuck in Alba in there? Hey, man. Alba, I always remember Jessica Alba from that series Dark Angel back in the day.
Oh, Dark Angel, man. Yeah, that was
boy.
Good. That was good. So I finished Breaking Bad last night. 5 seasons consumed in 4 weeks, man. Chica and I went through 66 episodes. I'm going to say that was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. Loved it. If I was to give it a letter grade, I'm not going to say A+. I'll give it an A. It's very much well worth it. And now I'm going back and reading the lore behind it. By the way, I learned over the weekend that the original person that they wanted as Walter White, which ended up being Bryan Cranston, who was a comedic actor for many, many years.
Oh, yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle. He had that turn on Seinfeld. The original person that they wanted was either John Cusack or Matthew Broderick.
Oh, man.
Both were offered the role, turned it down, and they went to Bryan Cranston.
I don't know if I could have seen either one of those actors play this role. It wouldn't have been as iconic.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's range as an actor, something else, dude. Like, the dude has great comedic timing, as you saw with Malcolm in the Middle. But then he's gone on to do some other series, do film, and even play this iconic role in Breaking Bad. And the dude can act, man. There's no denying that. The brother can act, Mike.
He can. Also read that Jesse Pinkman, the character by Aaron Paul, played by Aaron Paul, who won multiple Golden Globe Awards for Best Supporting Actor for Breaking Bad, he was supposed to be killed off in the first season.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Because there was a writer's strike that interrupted the first season, and they decided, we like this character, we're going to keep him going. So I found that to be pretty interesting. But yeah, got through it. Pretty good show, man. Pretty good show.
You know what? Sith Elias brings up something here that you might want to check out. He was saying that you need to check out Peaky Blinders next if you loved Breaking Bad. And I've heard this as much too from one of my good friends. Shout out to you, Jonas Clark. He's telling me that I need to go check out Peaky Blinders as well. He says it's pretty good.
I tried watching it an episode or two, and I couldn't get into it. Maybe I'll give it another try.
Is it watching, was it Downtown Abbey?
Like, everyone gives crap about Handmaid's Tale, which is number 1 right now on Hulu.
Oh God, no, bro. Can't.
Dude, I saw the first season of Handmaid's Tale, or whatever it's called. It was all right.
Nah, bro, I can't watch that
I
nonsense.
I can see why people don't want to watch it, but it wasn't bad. It was all right.
Nah, bro, I ain't.
I'm not
watching
gonna
that
recommend
nonsense.
it.
Nah,
I'm not gonna recommend it. Like I saw White Lotus, right? Season 1. That was all right. I mean, it was all right. That's the one with Sydney Sweeney. It was okay. The show that I really like that has nothing to do with Mad Men, what has nothing to do with rather Breaking Bad is Mad Men.
Yeah.
So if you've never seen Mad Men, that's a great show. It's not as exciting as Breaking Bad, but as far as the artistic value of it being a guy's show, it's that because Chico was like, well, "What's your favorite show of all time?" And before this, I had said Mad Men.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, like drama, if you will. But I can't watch that with her because there's nothing about it that a woman would like. I mean, there are female characters on there. Christina Hendricks'
Yeah.
character is smoking hot. But no, it's not a show to watch. So we're looking for a second show. I'll give Peaky Blinders another chance, man. That's on Netflix, I think.
I really like this show, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. This is probably one of my favorites. Halt and Catch Fire. It came out on AMC or something like that years ago. It was really good, man. I really enjoyed this one. Gotta say, it's probably one of my top. That one and the Battlestar Galactica that came out on the Sci-Fi Network, the remake, the reboot of that series was really damn good.
Okay. Do you know what show I really liked that no one has seen?
Which one?
Oh my God. It's with J.K. Simmons. It's called Counterpart. It's with J.K. Simmons, the bald guy from Whiplash, from the Farmers commercials and all that stuff. That one is an interesting story. If you like sci-fi, Joe, that's the first sci-fi show that I've ever liked. It's basically about, it's called Counterpart. It's basically, it's like 2 seasons. It's basically about a guy who finds out that there are 2 worlds that are like on different dimensions. So that there's 2 Joe Garcias, there's 2 Michael Jimenez's.
And what is it called?
There's 2 Jason Garcias. It's called Counterpart.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon Prime. It's free on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And basically, it's these 2 worlds that only like top people in the government realize exist. And basically, what ended up happening, this is nothing, I'm not giving away the whole plot line or anything. This is the first 20 minutes of the first episode. There was a U.S. NATO-led thing that happened. It was like an experiment that happened back in the 80s during the Cold War.
Yeah.
And what it did was it duplicated the timelines of the world. And so everyone has the same beginnings from the beginning of time in 1984. But there's another Joe Garcia in another world. There's another Michael Jimenez in another world that have the exact same upbringing that we have up to the year 1984. And their world's different than our world because in one world, Stephen Jobs did his thing, and in another world, he didn't. You know, it's like everything is different about the worlds. It's a cool movie. It's a show. It's a drama. It's an action. It's a thriller. There's a lot going on within the worlds, and it's J.K. Simmons.
That has a lot to do with what's called fringe science. You know, science that doesn't fit into the normality of what the laws of physics come to tell you, right?
Right.
So there's some things that they're doing over there that kind of mimic what they're trying to prove as far as what you saw in that series there. The Hadron Particle Collider that's over there in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
What they're trying to do. They do experiments there where they go ahead and get these particles and they run them at a, almost like the speed of light speeds so they can go ahead and smash together. And when they go ahead and collide together and they make this spark, this explosion, what they're trying to go ahead and do is they're trying to go ahead and they're trying to look for new particles. So basically and essentially what they're doing is if you find these new particles, you essentially go ahead and have the proof that there's multiple worlds or universes, like other dimensions. So that's what they do. They do a whole bunch of experimentation out there, but layman's terms, that's what they're trying to prove,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's interesting. J.K. Simmons, give it one try, Joe. It's called J.K. Simmons. It's called Counterpart. Give it one try on that.
We got an incoming super chat here from John C.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And he's
Yeah,
saying,
saying that
I'm
he's-
watching. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
he's watching How I Met Your Mother. Great show. Oh my God, this is a James pledge, and I would argue about this all the time. I can't watch that show. How I Met Your Mother and Friends are the same parallel type of show, and I know a lot of people who love it. I know a lot of people who it's considered to be a classic. Just could never get into that show. They're annoying characters. Chica was getting mad at me the other day because she was getting ready for work. And it's
Yeah.
like 5:30 in the morning, and I decided to wake up with her, and I put on Seinfeld, and she couldn't stand Seinfeld. She was like the cadence of them talking, the way that they talk, like what's the deal about, and she hates the way that they speak. I get it, but Seinfeld's an all-time classic. And she goes, "You probably loved Friends, right?" And I was like, "No, I hate Friends. In fact, I would say that Friends is the worst show I've ever seen in my life." I would say that if you're out in the dating world and the girl says that Friends is their favorite show, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Sith, this is currently streaming Demon Hunter. That's a good one, too. Good for you, brother. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Very cool. Very cool. Everyone's telling me not to watch Better Call Saul.
No, watch it. It's like an enhancement almost to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so I like the Saul character on there, so I might give that one a try as well. But we'll look into that. But Joe, we got to figure out what we're gonna do for the NBA draft. I know you work on that night, but I got to see if I'm gonna be able to finagle something for a draft party. We'll have to at least give it 2 weeks notice to everybody and let people know. If people want to take part in that, want us to have a draft party, let me know. Let us know in the chat line there. We'll make it so. Joe, I know we normally go an hour and a half, but I do need to bounce hard out because I have meetings in San Antonio, and I got a 3.5 hour drive ahead of me. So I have a 4 o'clock meeting I need to get over to. So, Joe, glad that you feel better. Guess who else has an ear infection? Chica.
Oh God.
So I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it from you. I'm hearing it from her. I know it's painful. I hope you guys feel better. And those antibiotics do work, or whatever that's going to be done. Friday, we're going to have a guest host on Friday. My parents want to spend some time with me this weekend, so we're going to go out someplace and go do something. So we'll be out on Friday.
I'll reach out to LG and see if he's available.
Yeah. So at least I give a few days notice, right? Joe, thank you for today. Thank you for all the super chats, by the way. We will be back tomorrow. I'll be in studio.
Oh, look at Elias says, tag me in, Joe. If Elias wants to join us, he can join us. I'll reach out to him.
Jesse, make it a 3-week notice to give you a week to cancel and reschedule in 2 weeks. Oh, nice. Thank you. Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be in studio. See ya.